welcome to Talking Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my lovely co-pilot, Mr. Dom C. Dom, the Jets suck.
Ryan,
terrible.
This is sad that you and I, in our, our pregame moments before we go live, have that's like the tone of our conversation. Well, I don't know, man. I just feel defeated again. They did it to us. Another year of this crap, Ryan. But yes, we are not very good, my friend. Where do we start in this game? Like, who is the de facto problem child number one in your eyes?
I mean, it's hard not to turn your attention towards coaching and like all the mental cues and stuff. At some point, you do have to hold the players accountable. Like, how often can guys miss tackles and it not be like directly on the players? How often can guys cause pre-snap penalties or whatever, fumble the ball? Like, Aaron Glenn can't control Breece Hall fumbling on the 10. He can't control Braylon Allen fumbling on the 2. He can't control, all the different ins and outs of a game. But man, this team just looks undisciplined. It does not look very focused, like, at all. Like, this team looks so much worse than what we saw last year. And like, it's hard for me to envision them winning a game. I'll be honest right now. And you're on
the 0-17 trek?
No, I mean, look, I don't think we're going to go 0-17. I think we're going to wind up, probably winning 2 or 3 games over the course of the season. We'll win a game that we shouldn't, and then 2 games that are like, maybe coin flip type games. Yeah. But man, this is very bad. Vegas had us at 5 wins. I had us at 6, and I was like the negative Nelly of like me, Green Bean, and Matt. But I was like, I think 6 wins makes sense. But not like totally out of my expectation realm, but this sucks. This was the first time, I think, since doing this channel that I actually turned off the game and walked away. I walked away at halftime, and I was like, I'm going to go to Applefest. I'm up here in Warwick, and there's like this big festival up here, fall and everything. I was like, just not going to do it. I'll watch the rest of the game. I did not do a recap video. I did not do an instant reaction video. I was like, this team's not worth my time. Like, that's honestly where my head's at. It just pissed me off so much. I shouldn't even say pissed me off. It got me irritated more than anything, because like, I want to enjoy our team, and we're an embarrassment.
Yeah. See, you're right in the sense that we are an embarrassment. There's no denying that. I had a little bit of a different weekend, right? We had a festival. My company throws this huge carnival every year in the fall festival. So I took my youngest 2 kids there. My wife took my oldest kid to his swim meet. And my washing machine on Saturday just completely shit the bed. So I'm like, oh boy. So I had dropped off oodles of clothes to be washed over to my mom's house. And I figured after the carnival, I'm going to go to my mom's house, pick up all those clothes. No one else is going to be home. I'm going to sit. I'll fold laundry and watch the Jets. And about, 20 to 3, I started throwing the laundry. I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah, it was, just, I had such a relaxed, good start to my Sunday that just really, really, like somebody peed in my Cheerios, man. This was, actually, I should say Miami, I really, really thought we were going to win. I did. Mm-hmm. Like Miami, there was no doubt in my mind we were going to win that game. This game, for some reason, as the week crept on, I was like, wow, I think we can do this. I think we can. And, it's like, are you a poker player?
I am.
All right. So, I mean, you're younger than I am, but do you remember when poker started to get big in like the 2000?
I was going to say 2003. I was going to say 3, 4,
or no,
5.
2003. I'm sorry. I said 14. 2003, 2004, like the, the money maker days and all that. All right. So you know who Mike Matusow is, right?
Sure.
Mike Madison has a big blow up once a game, and from that point on, he's like kind of fizzles out. Well, the Jets have had their Mike Madison moment in every single game, right? They're doing great. Everything's fine. We're driving. We're gonna tie the game, or we have a almost a 2-touchdown lead on Pittsburgh, and boom, you have that moment, and everything just crumbles from there. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how we went from the start of that game and Breece Hall just running down the throats of this Dallas defense, this really porous Dallas defense, nonetheless, to down 20-3 in a blink of an eye. Dude, in the blink of an eye, dude.
It was what, 10-3. We're driving down. We're inside like the 10-yard line, or right at the 10-yard line where Breece is running, and then coughs up the football. They go like zipping down the field in like a minute with like 2.5 minutes left. And then the Jets get the ball back. We're like, all right, maybe we'll, go into halftime, or maybe we get 3 points before half, sort of stifle some of the bleeding. And nope, bring it out. They use their timeouts. We give it right back to them. They're doing the fullback, the halfback dive. We're just going into halftime, and the Jets can't make a tackle. And like, what is it, 67 yards later or whatever it was, down to
66,
yeah. Oh,
unbelievable,
insane!
Right?
Like both games, even last week, I felt like we were like in it, and then just we were not. It like snapped by. Yeah, I don't know. I really can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, there's definite lack of talent on the defense. All right.
Sure.
Yes, we're missing Quincy. Yes, we're missing JJ. Even without those guys, I still think that there's, a big need for an influx of true talent, right? I mean, we don't have to talk about Michael Clemens. And I know everyone loves to talk about how, awful Brandon Stevens is, and that contract's a monstrosity. Well, guess what? For 3 weeks now, he's been the best defensive back we have. He again was the best defensive back on the field for us this past game. But the defensive line is just, man, I am as big of a Braden McGregor fan as they come. I root for him. If I never watch him play another football game and for my Jets, I'll be pretty content. Tyler Barron, 5th round rookie, developmental kid, forced into a lot of playing time and had 2 opportunities to put them in punt situations with tackles in the backfield, and he can't stick them. Michael Clemens is running around, doesn't know if he's in Newton or if he's in Booton. The linebackers.
That play action on him?
Oh, my God.
I don't even know if it was necessarily a play action.
It was. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Down. You know exactly what play I'm talking about.
I know the play you're talking about. Exactly. And Tyler, in that play, you know what? While we're that play, I'm going to see if I can find it. Who had it on Twitter? I think it was Michael Nania. Yeah, so that play, not only did Michael Clemens look not know where the hell he was, but Tyler Barron was left one-on-one. That was a 66-yard rush, one-on-one to hit Javonte Williams for no gain, and he just crumbles off him. He kind of goes into him like this, and then just falls like he's doing the worm, like the frontwards worm. You're like this. Yep. That's exactly what he looked like. I mean, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
It doesn't make any damn sense to me.
No. So you got the defense with no talent. You have the scheme. Now I do get, and I understand wholeheartedly that changing scheme sometimes takes, a little bit of time to adjust. Steve Wilkes is just being very, very vanilla. Like, he's not pushing these guys. They blitzed more, like they blitzed like crazy during preseason. And now the blitzes are very, very recognizable. They're not switching anything up. They're not, and maybe he doesn't get the manpower or the right people in place to kind of show one look and do something else. But man, it is very predictable, very bad. Justin Fields, for all his as good as his stats look at the end of the game, he couldn't elevate a helium balloon if he tried.
Yeah, dude, I saw, let me see if I don't know if I saved the tweet. I think it was FanDuel that put it out. And it was like talking about Justin Fields, like his passing, his rushing touchdowns, no interceptions, like all this stuff. And it's like, I get it. He's been a garbage time, like stat patter for like the last 3 weeks. It's, I like Justin Fields as a person, but Justin Fields as a quarterback felt like we couldn't get anything done for a good chunk of the game, and which is like frustrating, especially because of the way we were running the ball. Like, let me see if I can share the screen that you're showing right now. I don't know if I have this set up.
Can you share what I'm sharing?
Let's see. I hit the share button over here. I don't know what this does. That's probably not what I want to show. Let's see. I gotta find you. Where did you go?
I'm here.
Do this one. Yeah, I'm clicking buttons. I never set this up the right way, so let's see. Guys in the chat, we will get to your super chats momentarily. Just want to get some of this up here for, let's see, what is the name of this game? What am I doing? Sorry. Trying to, I got to add you as a camera. That's what it is. Okay. So then I'm going to take that off. Hello. This is my good side. All right.
There we go.
This is what we're trying to find. All right.
Yeah. So we'll do this quick so that you don't get zapped or anything like that by NFL. All right. So interesting look here. Like I said, they got Clemens in the 3 tech over here. I don't know who this is. I can't see the number. I think it's 95. I think that's Q. This is Tyler Barron.
Let me see if I can get the. I'm gonna put a little
pointer.
Because it doesn't actually like show what you're pointing at.
That's okay. I'll go from left to right to make it easier for everyone.
Got it.
I'm talking on the defensive line. Will McDonald in a 2-point stance. Michael Clemens in the 3 tech. Q Williams in the 1 tech, and then Tyler Barron on the other end over here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna play this through. So I want the first key you guys got to watch is watch Michael Clemens over here. Okay, number 72. So he's just completely blown out of the play. Like, give me a break. Why are you even playing inside? Like. This is as easy. Boom. It's like a pinball. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Q gets pinned on this side. Okay. They bring, I don't know if that's, I can't see if that's Isaiah Oliver or Malachi Moore. 26 is, I believe it's Moore.
Yeah.
Right? So he gets pinned by the tackle, washed out. 44 Sherwood must be keying this guard here because if you watch him, he takes himself out of the play. He just goes left.
Oh.
All right. So all that's left, everyone else is blocked. All that's left is good old Tyler Barron here on the right-hand side. And watch him, guys. Crashing down. No one's blocking him. Oh, no.
Just arm tackled.
I mean,
trying to chase him from behind.
He can bull. He can run through the guy right here.
Yeah.
Right here. Look at this angle, Ryan. I think you could knock Javonte Williams running back into Candyland from this spot, right? All you got to do, and even if you don't think you're going to get him, like, take out, put your body in front of his knees. Take him out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But no. A little arm, he's lunging here. A little arm tackle, stiff arm. And boop, he's down. And then it just becomes comical. Look at this point. It then just becomes comical. Sherwood dives, gets picked off. These two guys, I don't know, 26 and Cisco and 26, neither of them can make the tackle. This is just awful. Yeah, 26 was Oliver because that's 27, and that's more.
Yeah,
that
more
came up to yeah. save that. I mean, this is like I've seen worse defense. I don't know if I've seen worse defensive plays when I go to watch the Pop Warner kids in town, man.
Dude,
this is just embarrassing. How can you sit through a film session with your coaches the day after a game?
You can't.
And not be embarrassed of that. And you're not embarrassed of this.
I mean, they just gotta be. I don't even know, like, what is Wilkes supposed to do in this particular instance? Like that, like this is clearly like
watch Cisco coming
bald.
Ryan, watch Cisco. He's coming from like in the bottom right of the screen. Just watch Cisco. Okay? Now, everyone's washed out. Isaiah Oliver over here, 26. I think that's him. I don't know if who's who, Moore or Isaiah Oliver number-wise. But he gets pinned. And here comes Cisco coming into the screen now.
Just like tries to tackle his own guy.
Doing? Yeah.
Crap.
What is he doing? Oh, my God. He's going to go through the middle. Oh, my God. He tackles his own guy. You got 4 guys. 2 of them tackled each other. I don't know what Sherwood's doing on the ground. I mean, you cannot make that shit up, man. You can't make that shit up if you tried. I can't even. I have to stop the share because it's driving me crazy.
Dude. Drives me freaking
yeah, you couldn't make that stuff up if you tried, man. And here we are.
Let's rip through a few super chats. I see Jet Engine in here. What's up, brother? The only positive is that the worse it gets, the quicker we can get Mayo. Get him out of here. Can Mayo him out of here?
Who out of here?
He's saying Aaron Glenn. Get Mayo him out of here after 1 year. Hire 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐢𝐷, hire a real GM, and maybe draft Nussmeier or someone with talent, but I have zero confidence. I would be very surprised if the Jets pull the plug on Glenn after 1 year. And the way Glenn's talking, it doesn't sound like he's going to pull the plug on Wilkes either. Seems like this is who we have, at least for the next 2 years.
All right. So I think this is a 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll chime in my thing. The idea that Aaron Glenn is going to go anywhere is very, very far-fetched. They just paid him 5 years, $55 million. Head coach contracts are guaranteed. He's the 6th or 7th highest paid coach in the NFL right now. Woody Johnson's not going to eat $44 million. He's just not going to do it.
No shot.
So, and, now you start hearing some of the stuff. I know it wasn't, I know it was all piss and vinegar early on. We're built for this shit and blah, 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 blah. But now you start hearing stuff like big ships take a long time to turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And just today he said, hey, hang with us. This is going to take some time, so on and so forth. So, I think the talk early on was the talk, and they know that this rebuild, if you will, and that's exactly what it is. There's 30 expiring contracts next year. When you count all the guys on the 53-man roster and on IR, 30 of them have expiring contracts. It's a good chance the majority of those 30 aren't coming back.
Mm-hmm. They're going to have to remake.
Right? You're rolling that roster over.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as like, I guess we'll get. I'm sure we'll have some other questions in here.
Oh, and the Wilkes part. Let me chime in on that also.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Salah's first year?
Yeah, it was an ugly first year. Ugly first year.
And who did we all want to get rid of?
Ulbrich,
right?
Yeah.
Ulbrich, like get rid of Ulbrich. He's terrible. Blah blah blah. That worked itself out. Am I that confident? Am I confident like that in Steve Wilkes turning around? No. I'm not, but I'm confident in the sense that I think with another year, maybe with more of his type of players, that you'll get something out of it. And at worst case scenario, I think that Steve Wilkes is the scapegoat to bide Aaron Glenn some more time into year 2, year 3.
I agree. I think that's probably how it goes. I mean, 5-year contract for a coach. We're not moving off. We're not moving off him. Glenn likened Wilkes sort of to his own role. Like, they gave me an extra year, that sort of thing, as defensive coordinator. Then it started turning around. I think we're kind of in it this year. We're going to replace a bunch of guys. I think the defense will take a step forward next year. But, man, it seems like we're missing a lot of talent. Like, even guys we thought were real good. Michael Carter, obviously not traveling with the team this week, hasn't played. You know, Quincy has been hurt. JJ's been hurt. I mean, you really just have like Sauce and Quinnen out there as like the only two like guys that you feel any sort of confidence in. And even still, Sauce is getting flagged, and Quinnen is just a one-man show. He's just like, how much is he really able to do when there's no help around him? Jet Engine follows that up with, so if they go 0-17, we drink champagne with the Dolphins or something? I'm confused. If we go 0-17, I really would like to see the college football sphere kind of become a little more crystal clear as far as like who the top quarterbacks are going to be. I feel like it's a little ambiguous right now. Like I feel like Mendoza, Moore, Sellers are kind of, Mateer, like those guys are kind of the ones people are.
Yeah, there's like we've been talking about this
since week 1
amongst group chat. Yeah, since week 1. There's like 6 guys who are still in the discussion for possibly being the first quarterback off the board. Mateer's injury, I think, kind of hurts that a little bit. So if you want to, and he was really a long shot to begin with in that sense. So if you want to say there's 5 guys vying for QB1 still, I'd say that's probably pretty accurate.
Let's say the Jets get the number 1 pick right now, based on what we're looking at currently. Would you rather the Jets trade down and accumulate some more picks and take a quarterback, sort of similar-ish to what the Giants did? They didn't trade down. They took the best player available and then drafted their quarterback the back half of the first round. Is there like a vibe you're sort of feeling at this stage? I mean, granted, it's really early. I mean, we've got 6 months till a draft or whatever it is. Any sort of feeling like just quarterback at the top because that's what it sort of needs to be, or what you're feeling?
I think the Madden GM and me wants to say trade back and get some more capital, and that'll give you a chance to fill multiple holes, because you're going to have to fill multiple holes. Realistically, I think if they have their their quarterback of the future, who they think can be their quarterback of the future in their crosshairs, go get them. They're the number 1 pick, go get them. And listen, if they end up having 3 guys that are all within the same tier and they're fine with whatever 3 happens, then yeah, you want to entertain a trade back a little bit so you could still be in range for one of your 3 guys. I have no problem with that. But like the whole, hey, listen, I'm making it up because you talked about Mateer, so hypothetical. Mateer's their guy. Mateer's going to go number 1 overall, but they get offered 3 future ones to move back. And all right, well, we'll figure out the quarterback next year at some point. Like that can't. I understand how juicy that juicy and sizzling that steak is. You want to bite into it, but at some point you can't just keep pushing off the quarterback. You got to go get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been pretty much team quarterback for 2026.
Yes,
the whole time. Admittedly, I thought we'd win some games and we'd be like trading up to go get a guy. Now it feels like we're going to be in square position to like just get our pick of the litter. A little disappointing. Cuddy comes in and says, make it make sense. I don't mind Fields. Fire the defensive coordinator. I mean, I don't.
What do you mind about Fields? Let's dig into this one a little bit, Ryan.
All right.
What are your thoughts about Fields?
I think he's collecting a lot of garbage time yardage. I think that the maybe, I don't want to say wowness, but like his stat line that people are like, oh, he's not playing that bad, is very Aaron Rodgers-ish-esque, where it's like, okay, I see his stat line, but I don't feel his stat line from like an impact on the game consistently. And that's obviously one's throwing, one's running a little bit more and whatnot. But like I don't think Fields is the biggest reason we're losing these games. I think the fumbles from the running backs, I think the defenses are the main reason we are losing games. I think Fields isn't necessarily the catalyst that could help overcome some of the issues. I mean, he does some amazing things. The wow plays with his legs, the 40-some-odd yard run, last week was really impressive. Even the first drive, yesterday. Like they're going down the field. They're making plays. They're doing the right things. He's had a few like really nice throws, but I don't know if this is enough to pass on the quarterback. I guess my mindset is like if the Jets wind up with the first pick, if someone's willing to offer you a haul and you were to run it back with Fields again, my gut feeling is telling me you're probably going to end up with a pretty high draft pick, even with, trading down. I don't think the Jets haven't had the number 1 overall pick since 1997 or 98 at this point.
Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I feel like you just kind of got to get your guy. And if you let him sit for an entire year and the season, falls apart or whatever it does in 2026, I don't want to throw a guy into the fire. And I think as long as you have Fields, you can still play him. And, granted, if you're 0-5 next year, it's going to get real toasty in that quarterback room. They're going to be chanting for the rookie. So I don't know. What's your vibe on Fields right now?
I say, listen, is he the reason we're losing games? No, not single-handedly, but he's part of the reason we're not winning them as well. You know what I mean? And like I said, he's, I think in a perfect situation, which this 2025 Jets team is far from, I think in a perfect situation, he can manage a game very well. Right. But he's just not going to elevate anybody in the offense, and it's still the same thing 6 years later that are problems that we saw in year one. His inability to get through his progressions and his hesitation and pulling the trigger, being late on his throws, not throwing with anticipation, being hot and cold with the deep ball. So it's all the same song and dance. And I don't know if this is, you could say it's a net negative, but it's real. I think that, sometimes his escapability and his mobility, his off-platform stuff can be a detriment as well, because guys aren't holding for, he's running through pockets and stuff like that. So there's pressures and undue hits that he's taken just because of how mobile he is. Again, sounds like kind of like like a rich man's problem, right? He's too athletic and too fast, and has too good of escapability that he's causing issues for the offensive line. But that's the truth.
Jake comes in and says, "Is it Glenn or we are just cancer? Just got in. Hi, hey, what's up, Jake? I definitely feel like, God, we stink for so long, for so consistently, with so many different players and so many different head coaches. It's like it's from the head. It's Woody on down at this point. TBD on Glenn. I think we've said usually you need a year and a half, 2 years to grade a coach. Like, well, do they make the same mistakes over and over again, or is he correcting things as we go? So I don't know. TBD. I want to hit Cameron's super chat, and then I want to jump down to JJ. Just threw a 20 spot in there, and then I'll work my way down. We got a bunch of super chats in here. We're trying to clean up here. Cameron, JETS, Jets stands for just end the season. I say we go full tank, 0-17 and clean house, get an offensive head coach and a young QB, and try again next year. We were just talking a little bit about the prospects of the Jets maybe moving off of Glenn. I would be very, very surprised to see Woody Johnson do that. I think I don't know if there's a coach out there that would make Woody say, okay, I'll pull the plug and start going. Like, even if John Gruden said, hey, I want to come to the Jets and I want to get the number 1 overall pick and this is what I want to do. Like, I don't know if that's enough to have Woody kind of pull the trigger. Is there any coach out there, Dom, that you can even think of that Woody might consider doing this to Glenn too, if we do, bottom out? I feel like Gruden would be like the only name I can really muster right now.
Yeah, Gruden's not getting the job.
No, I don't even know if he wants this job.
I don't think he's getting a job. No, there's not one I can think of. There's really not one. Maybe McVay, if somehow, McVay gets bored of Los Angeles, and
why would he do that?
He wants to play Madden GM. Me,
Just
I don't know, man. I mean, it would have to be a complete opposite in terms of like ideology and focus and stuff like that.
it'd be like Cliff Kingsbury coming in and be like, okay, you're GM and head coach, go. Like, and even then, it's not even like I don't feel good about that. I'm not loving Muji's signings right now, or even his draft picks. I'm very lukewarm on this regime as it currently stands. I do like Tanner still. I think Tanner Engstrand is gonna prove himself pretty valuable if we can, put a few more pieces on the offense. I feel like I see guys running open at times, and it's just not really coming to fruition. JJ comes in and says, Fields sucks more than a $5 hooker. He fixes problems. He holds the ball too long. He has tunnel vision. He can't read a defense, and his accuracy is hot and cold. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of throws where it's like, oh man, that's going to get intercepted, or oh man, what's he doing with that? And then you see like it's 70% completion percentage, I think is what he's at on the year. And it's like, yeah, well, I feel like a lot of it's checkdowns, a lot of it's like indecisiveness. It's okay, you're not seeing the guy that's getting open. You're not. It's really like a one read look. It's like look for Garrett. If Garrett's not open, look for Mason Taylor. If Mason Taylor's not open, run. If it's not Garrett, then maybe it's the running back. If it's not open, run. Like that sort of feels like how they've built this offense, which is, I did expect that. I said this multiple times. I was like, I think it's going to be a tiered thing. They're going to roll them out, and that's the offense we're going to see. And honestly, if the defense could just show anything, I think the offense, at least the way they're running the ball like the last few weeks before the turnover started happening, it feels like we can play ball control offense. Like this could be like a recipe for success for a team, but we don't get any turnovers. Like our only turnovers that happen are like we get fumbles and like they always bounce into the other team's hand. We just, for whatever reason, can't recover a damn fumble. It can't cause a turnover. First team through 5 games at 0-5 did not have a turnover. Brutal.
Yeah, man. I was chatting with my wife earlier because it was this past weekend last year, we were in London for the Jets-Vikings game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, like, I'm so glad we went last year. I am, like, elated that we went last year. Like, not only is it a cool thing, bucket list kind of trip, but, like, we were 2-2 at that point. We still had hope.
Yeah.
There was still some hope that
got to see some Sam Darnold versus Aaron Rodgers. There was still a lot. There was still a lot of good things brewing as we went into that game. Now, the floor fell out once we left that game. You know what I mean? Yeah.
By the time we got home into the land in the States, Salo was canned. But, yeah, I digress. I feel bad for the people who are going over there this week. Dude. I do. I feel bad for the Jets fans because it's not cheap. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful time. Enjoy it. But they are going to get mollywopped by Denver.
Yeah, this does not feel like a good game. The only benefit for us is that it happens at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, like, you got the rest of your Sunday after the sadness happens. Who knows? If this game's a blowout by halftime, you could be getting breakfast sandwiches before before the game's over. So I don't know. JJ also comes in and says, when we get our number 1 pick, we need a quarterback. We also need a front office that can evaluate talent and have a plan to develop talent. So I guess because we have Fields, my mind sort of gravitates towards like an athletic quarterback as being the profile they want. Yeah, like Sellers is exciting to me. If they think Tanner can develop him, man, he's a block of clay. Like the other quarterbacks, I need to watch more on to have more of a concrete feeling. How about Drew Allar falling off a fucking cliff? Dude, losing to UCLA the way they did, not good. He is, I don't know if he's even draftable at this point. Like, he is bad. He does not look good. Is there a quarterback that you're kind of vibing right now that you might say, like, okay, he looks pretty good? Still early on, still a lot of college ball left to play.
There's a lot of there's a few of them. I think now I'll give it to you in 2 tiers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the guy I think who's going to be really good. There's 2 guys I think that have a chance to be really good pros, but probably aren't in the range for like quarterback one, like number one overall pick of the draft kind of thing. The one is the kid out of Oklahoma, John Mateer. Man, he is so exciting to watch play. Little small, only 6 feet, 6'1", maybe. A little stocky, 225 pounds. I like to say he's kind of like the
Baker
chubby
Mayfield.
brother of Kyler Murray. That's how he plays. You know what I mean? Like that kind of style. Always on the move, can create. He's not. I'm not gonna say he's a true dual threat. Like he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Jalen Hurts in that sense. But he, like Kyler, he can really use his legs to affect the game. Very, very good arm. I like John Mateer a lot. I don't know if he's number one pick overall, but coming off a thumb injury, so we'll see if he plays this week versus Texas. The second guy is a name from the past. We talked about him a lot last draft cycle and even 2 cycles ago. Yes. Yes. Mr. Beck down from Miami. I think he's just, like I said, I think he's matured as a football player. Mechanically, like he's always been sound. He's always had a good arm. He played injured last year. I think that had a lot to do with it. He's a guy that I think can be a better pro than he would be a college guy, but he's not a guy that you want to turn the keys over and say, here you go, Carson, take her home. No, he's a guy that kind of you want to sit and wait and mature. And, he's going to end up winning the job in his third training camp. Or, in his second year, the starter's going to get hurt like Drew Bledsoe, and he's going to come in and never give that starting role up. Like, that's what I think of Carson Beck. But the 2 guys at the top right now, for me, I like Sellers. I think so. I like what you said about that. He's not in my top 2 yet. There's a lot of football left, so don't grades aren't all complete.
He's a big block of play. That's what it is.
My thing with Sellers is that the stuff that you saw as an issue in previous years, his inability to get off his first reading only half the field, some of taking like awful sacks. You're still seeing some of that stuff. Now the arm is live at 245 pounds. I mean, he's a beast. Some of the escapability does remind you of Justin Fields, but some of the processing reminds you of Justin Fields too, and I don't think that's a good thing. So I think Nussmeier is a guy who I think is more of a high floor, lower ceiling guy, and then Fernando Mendoza. I know he's a hot button name. I've been talking about him for a while now. You know that, and I think that he's done what Sellers to me hasn't. And that's really taken the stuff that you saw on film last year when he was at Cal, all the negative stuff, and clean that up. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way as much. He doesn't try to play hero ball. He takes what the defense has given him. He's improved his overall, accuracy in the short and the intermediate areas. He uses his legs again, more sneaky athletic than he is dual threat athletic. Like a slower version in terms of his athleticism. He's a slower version of Daniel Jones, I think.
I was going to say, I've heard him compared to like Jared Goff almost. Like, similar in the sense of like, making the right decisions, athletic, but not like you wouldn't consider him like a mobile quarterback by any means.
Correct. Just a guy that I think is going to, and a perfect fit for this scheme. I think he's a West Coast guy. He likes to work on the horizontal plane more so than the vertical plane. But a good live arm. And the thing that I love about him the most is that processor's there, man. The internal clock, he knows, when to get rid of it. He'll step up and make pinpoint accurate throws in small windows with pressure in his face. Like, he's the big play is not, he doesn't shy away from the big time. So
JJ follows that up with, the team needs to look at JJ and AVT. As much as I love both of them, they may not have bodies that can take pro football. AVT, I would be shocked if he's on this team next year. JJ, I think, is definitely going to be here. We already exercised 5th year option. Like, he's at the very least, he's going to round out next season. Any thought on like your head as far as JJ goes? I know we've talked about AVT, more than likely not being here, but any additional thought on JJ or AVT?
JJ's going to be back on the team. I mean, they signed it. They gave him the 5th year option. So you got him for 1 more year. I think we need to see what he does coming off this ankle injury. I think he can only help the defense. And AVT, I don't know, man. I mean, how can you justify paying a guy like that 15, 16, 17 million dollars a year when he just can't stay on the field?
Yeah,
no.
AVT
it's now the 3rd season-ending injury in 5 years.
He's going to go somewhere else, stay healthy for a year, and have a pretty solid contributing assets to another team. It just won't be here. Jake comes in and says, the effort is what bothers me. It's bad scheme is one thing. Wilkes is horrible, but these guys are checked out. I can't watch that. Dude, the amount of missed tackles we see on a weekly basis is mind-numbing. Like, do we know what we had yesterday? Was it, I'm sure we had like 11 to 13.
Double digit missed tackles.
We've had double digits every single week except for the first week. And
four of the 5 games.
I was going to say, I think the first week was 8.
5.
I want to say 8 was our first week. That's just unacceptable. And the penalties too. We just can't get out of our own way. Penalties, fumbles, and missed tackles. If you clean those 3 things up, 3 self-inflicted wounds, this team probably has at least 2, maybe 3 wins. Like, crazy to think that.
So we talked about Tyler Barron before. Tyler Barron and Isaiah Oliver, and I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm going to guess neither of those guys are playing more than 30% of the snap share. They have six missed tackles each in the past 3 games.
Ugly.
6.
Oh my God. Blitz crew.
Each.
Anyone playing well that we didn't expect? Rookies. I think Arian Smith has played better than people initially thought. I don't think he's getting a whole heck of a lot of looks, but they keep, when he does get the ball, it's like, all right, he's, trying to make a guy miss. Like I have been pleasantly surprised with the production from Arian Smith, given the expectation headed into the season.
I mean, it's. I wish the sample size was bigger so we can get a real assessment of who he is. But I wouldn't hate that one. I'll say a couple. I think, with the exception of last game, which I don't think he was very good at all. Josh Myers has looked pretty good. I would say Isaiah Davis has looked really good. I actually think Isaiah Davis can be RB2.
I agree. He's been a gamer every time he gets the hand on the ball. Like, even on kickoffs too. Like, he feels like he's making a guy miss. He did field one out of the end zone, which for fuck's sake, if the ball's kicked in the end zone, stay in the end zone. You get the ball at the 40 or 35, whatever 35. It is. Just stay in the end zone. For Christ's sakes. But I digress. I think he has a chance to really eat up some running back 2 reps. He might be better between the tackles than Braylon Allen is. I know he's not big and it's not, doesn't have the brute strength that he does, but the way he can make himself skinny and find those holes and keep his legs driving, and his pass pro is through the roof. I think Isaiah Davis is a good ball player. And defensive side, Juwan Briggs, I know we've all talked about him. I think he's really outkicked the coverage in sense of what we expected from. It's not much. Austin McNamara, pretty solid punter.
Oh, yeah. I can't even say that. You know who I haven't thought who I think has looked improved? I'm not going to say he's great, but he's improved. Jeremy Ruckert.
You're right. I think he's hasn't done a crazy ton, but I think there's been more positives than negatives.
Awfully on a block yesterday, but I guess listen, that's the first one I've seen in 5 games. He had 1 a game at least last year. So
I'll take backup tight end from him.
Yeah, he probably, if he connects on his block and doesn't look like he's lost in the sauce, Brees is probably sprung for a touchdown.
I'm sure we'll get into Brees in a little bit here. Cashmere says, do y'all think the refs are ticky-tack with Sauce? I think Sauce just has a reputation. I think that's honestly what it is, and the whole league knows it, and the whole league's watching out for it. So he's at his best when he can be handsy.
Yeah, but I just think that he plays a physical style of defense. By the way, breaking news, Alan Lazard, for personal reasons, did not travel with the team to London.
Interesting.
Yes.
Trade candidate.
I have to say that, yeah, I don't know. He's just physical, man, you know, and he's taught to put hands on people. And I think it's, you know, he blew up. Like, you know, he's a media darling. He got big real quick, and the eyes are always on him. And when your eyes are always on him and that name, people are going to watch and look a little bit more. So, listen, some of the stuff is definitely penalties, and some of it is just a little ticky-tacky. I will say, like, you got to be able to put hands on guys. You can't play defensive back if you can't put hands on guys.
Jet Engine says, I agree. They won't fire AG after year one. They should, but they won't. He looks lost. Get ready for Jets football circa 1995 to 96. Seen this one before too often. Jet Engine, stop it. I don't want to relive 95 and 96. Those are the very earliest parts of my Jet fanhood. And I remember sitting in the stands with my dad at 1-15. That was not fun. JJ says, I want to use the number one pick. Trading it. Yeah, like,
right.
The excitement of it would be fantastic. Like, if you wind up with a quarterback you really, really like, just make the pick. Let's get it over with, and then move on. Pooch Guy, Dom, who's QB1? Seems like an underwhelming class. We kind of went through that before, talking a little bit about Mendoza, a little bit about guys that aren't necessarily the number one quarterback, but may end up being the number one quarterback, you know, in a few years' time. And
I'll give you the 6 names, Pooch Guy, that have a chance, right? Very, very small chance. John Mateer, very small chance. More so an honorable mention because I think he's a good ball player. In no order, we talked to Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. You talked Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. We talked Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Think you have to mention Dante Moore from Oregon.
You think he comes out?
Who am I missing? Yeah. Who am I missing? 1, 2. I think he comes out. Sellers.
Mendoza,
Mateer.
You mentioned Beck before.
Yeah, no,
Hr, I don't think is in that conversation.
Hr is not in the case. Nussmeier. Ty Simpson from Alabama. He's the guy that nobody's really talking about that I think might be playing the best football out of all of those 6 guys so far. So,
Jet Engine. Stat of the day. Fields has yet to score a touchdown before the Jets were down by 14+. Game is already over at that point. Yeah, I mean, the offense has moved well at times that it's not him scoring the touchdown. It could be, you know, Braylon Allen could have scored a touchdown. Brees Hall could have scored a touchdown. Like, we were driving when it was closer. You know, I do think a lot of his stats are fluffed up by garbage time. So I think you're spot on, Jet Engine. I don't think that's off base at all. Zorless says, get a whole new group of 53. These guys are broken. Yeah, at some point
you're going to get some.
You're going to get a whole lot.
At least 30.
Yeah, you mentioned 30 expiring contracts. And, I mean, we had a discussion in our group chat, too, talking about no guaranteed money left for Quinnen Williams and how that could potentially impact the roster. Quincy, I don't believe, has any guaranteed money next year either. Nope. So there could be a situation where both brothers are off to another team. You know, what happens with Brees Hall? I don't think we've had anyone bring up Brees Hall yet, but I mean, I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, okay, Garrett Wilson's a gamer. Brees Hall is a gamer. Like, yeah, he fumbled, but like, I don't want to see him go anywhere. I'm like, damn, like this sucks. Like, we're in such a weird spot. I think Mason Taylor's heading in the right direction. Like, he's going to be a force at some point in the future. You know, if you could kind of keep those 3 together, I don't know what it's going to cost to keep Brees at this point. I think you're probably looking at a franchise tag as opposed to a multi-year deal. And at that point, it's okay, how long, like, can you realistically hold on to him? If you're taking the quarterback at 1 overall, it might make sense to franchise the running back for 1 year. How many free agents are you going to attract, or how much money are you going to use inside your own building on guys that could make a difference? So I'm team keep Brees as far as that goes.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you say keep Brees, you're talking about beyond this year, or you're talking about before the deadline this year?
I would say I would plan, if you can't re-sign him to a 3-year deal, because my ultimate goal would be to try and get him on a reasonable 3-year contract. If you could say 3 years, 36 million, 3 years, 30 million, somewhere in that ballpark, all day. I'm down with it. We're not paying anyone. We need playmakers. Brees is a playmaker. At worst, I'm franchise tagging him because I think you're gonna draft your guy at number 1 or whatever in the first round, and I think you're gonna see him at some point. And based on where the Jets roster currently is, I don't think I like the idea of overpaying for outside free agents to come in and just not be what they were on other teams, or we're just bidding to get players here because we're a bad team and they don't really want to be here. Like, I would much rather pay our own guys that are in-house and know that they're working. Like, Brees, to me, is working in this offense. Pay him, keep him here. I think there's good. I think we're gonna have an excess of money. We're gonna have $80 million next year, even though you got to flip a lot of that. I think we're looking at a lot of guys that are gonna have to be draft picks, a lot of guys that might be undrafted free agents or second, third tier free agents. Like, I don't think the Jets should be shopping at the top of the free agent market next year.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying, and I think what you have to do is you have to figure out, or the Jets have to figure out, or we as fans have to kind of identify where we are in this. Is this a rebuild? Where are we in this rebuild? Like, are we 2 years away? I'd probably say we're 2 years away, right? 26 and 27. 27 we start making some noise, hopefully.
Okay.
So the question is, can Breece Hall in 2027 still be a viable part of this offense, right? Does he?
How old is he? He's got to be, what, 26?
He's 24.
24.
He's 24.
Yeah. So we got, yes.
Yes. Would you give him 2 for 25 with 15 guaranteed? 2 for 25, 15 guaranteed.
Yes.
Okay. That would get you through the 26 season and 27 season.
I would do that. If he would do that, I think you're probably looking at a franchise tag, which I think is around 14, 15 million. So you're probably like, it's probably
all right. So
franchise
2 for 30.
plus 1.
2 for 30.
It's more than I want to pay, but I don't think the Jets are going to have anyone to pay. That, like, you're paying Simpson, and I don't think there's many other guys. So I guess I don't
think there's anybody else you're bringing back.
I don't think there's guys you're bringing
but
back.
You have
a ton, attracting other guys in.
You have a ton of depth pieces that you need to bring in. So, if you let Brees go, or if you trade him at the deadline, it's just one more piece that you have to fill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're still going to need a running back. Like, we're going to have Braylon Allen coming off a sprained MCL. You're going to have, Isaiah Davis. Like, Brees is a home run threat every time he touches the ball. It's one of those things that, like, don't look at him as just a running back. Look at him as a weapon. And especially with, like, a young kid coming in, it feels like having your wide receiver 1, your tight end 1, and your running back 1, and your offensive line all in the right spot. Like, that feels like the move to me. I'd be very disappointed if we moved off of him. Edward Ziff comes in and says, "What the fuck happened to Olu? He forgot how to pass block." I'll be honest, I did not keep an eye on Olu. Do you know what the grades were this past week for him?
Yeah, he was one of the top. I think he was the 6th worst offensive lineman. But like 3 or 4 of the 5 outside of Membu, the other 4 were all up there. Listen, I don't know if it's necessarily he forgot how to pass block. I think some of it has to do with Fields. He's doing just a fine job. But Fields holds the ball a little bit. Like, listen, he's definitely letting up some more pressures than what it is. It's not that he forgot how to pass block. He's being asked to do a little bit more, a little bit longer. And sometimes Fields escapes that pocket and goes into the way he's blocking a guy, so on and so forth. Again, that counts towards alignment. It doesn't count towards quarterback, right?
Yeah, and think about how.
And I'm not even with all that, I'm not worried one iota, right? Not worried one iota.
Well, think about how fast Rodgers got rid of the ball last year and how long Fields holds onto the ball this year. Like, it's a big difference when you go snap to throw as like 2 seconds and snap to throw to like 3.5, 4 seconds. Like that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not worried though.
says, we still have 0 wins at the deadline. Is it a fire sale? I think Quinnen is definitely going to be on the table. I think Breece is probably going to be on the table, and it just depends what you're going to get for those guys. Is there anyone else? Lazard maybe, could potentially be like a late round pick swap kind of a guy. Any other names that you could see out there? Like, could you see the Jets maybe moving Quincy at the deadline, or like, do you think we have a fire sale?
Quincy coming off the injury, probably not. Quinnen, I mean, maybe, just because if I had to bet, I'd say no. But maybe just because of the fact that, A, he doesn't fit that timeline that you're looking for this team to go. B, he's out of guaranteed money next year, right? He's gonna want some guaranteed money. You're staring. The Jets are staring down the barrel of a holdout situation with Quinnen Williams, right? So if you got offered a deal that's like too good to turn down, you have to consider it. But
do you think a first and a third is what would get that done?
I think they would have to jump very high to the table if it was a first and a third. I don't know if it's a first.
Really? Oh, man, that would burn me up to not get a 1 for Quinnen.
28 going to be 29 years old. Or 29 going to be 30? 28, 29?
But I feel like a late 1 is not out of the conversation. There's got to be a team in like the late playoffs that just needs that little piece to get over the hump, and I feel like
I got it for you. I got the team who needs it bad too. You trade him to Buffalo?
Would I trade?
Will you trade Quinnen to Buffalo for a first rounder, which will probably be 30th, 31st, or 32nd around there, right? Knowing that you're going to have to face him twice a year now for however long they decide to keep him under contract.
I would probably ask, what's the next best offer? Like, if the next best offer is like, sorry, we're not paying him like a crazy ton of money, and it's a third, like, no, I'd rather take a 2 than probably trade him to Buffalo. And I would hope we'd get something better than that. I don't know. Asman, yo, what's up, Jake? Says, Dom C and I watched the London game together.
We did. We were there together.
I was supposed to go.
The night before. We were there the night before at the Jake Asman special show at the casino. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip.
JJ says, thoughts on Gunnar Stockton?
No thoughts, man.
No thoughts. I don't even know who that is. I apologize. If I knew who it was, I would be a little more lively here. Let me see. Georgia quarterback.
I have still not. I mean, it's pretty late in the game for me, and I still haven't gotten through all of the games this year from the top 10 quarterbacks.
So far this year, he's got a 68.9% completion percentage through 5 games, has 1,047 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Does he have any rushing ability? He's got 39 rushes for 195 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So,
I have not watched any Georgia. I haven't watched them, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, I'm going to take the same plead the fifth type of argument here because I didn't know who he was till I Googled that name. So
yeah, check back when he has probably around December. I'll be done with all the quarterbacks by then.
Jake says, Mendoza guy since week 1 and really watching. Yeah, Mendoza's a fun one to watch. I know our buddy Connor Long very much liked Mendoza as well at the start of this.
Yeah, Connor is I was just on his show the other day. He's a real big Lenore Sellers fan. Too.
Ooh, I didn't know that. I don't know if he pivoted a little bit. I like Sellers a lot. Going back to last year when I was like looking at like the potential. Now I was not looking at Mendoza. I was not looking at Dante Moore. It was really like Sellers, Alar, Nussmeier, Ayamaliva, and
Lubnik?
not Arch. Klubnik.
from
Yeah,
Clemson.
looking at those 5 guys, I was like, okay, Sellers looks like he's the most wow. Like this guy's gonna be good if like everything hits. So like my wow player is Sellers. I would say Mendoza and Mateer are 2 guys that I very much like. I want no part of Klubnik. I want no part of Alar. I want no part of Iamaliva. Nussmeier I like. I don't love the lack of athletic. I don't say lack of athletic ability, but he like very much a statue in the pocket, which kind of, you said high floor, low ceiling kind of guy. I agree with that. I'll watch more tape throughout the course of this college season and have a little bit more of a concrete idea, but I don't think any of those thoughts have changed so far. Like Alar to me is undraftable.
I just saw Tony in the chat talk about the kid from Baylor, Sawyer Robertson. He's actually another guy who's really, really good. He stepped up his game this year a whole hell of a lot. Big boy too, Sawyer Robertson.
Let's see. I want to see if the good old Tankathon has anything. Sawyer Robinson, 2,058 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 6'4", 220. They have him currently ranked 152nd on the big board, but this is still super early. Sam Levitt. Yep. Levitt. It's another name I've seen people like.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, not early on either. I can't believe Drew Allar still ranked 41 on this list. Like that screams way too high based on what I've seen from him.
I got my very, very generic outline frame for my draft guide. I'll send you the Google link. I mean, it's still a real big work in progress. But the outline is there for all the guys that I've watched already.
Dom's draft guide is gospel. It is absolutely awesome to watch it progress as the season goes on. Cameron comes in and says, Glenn needs to become a defensive coordinator. It's where he has his fingerprints in the NFL. Also, are we calling in? Now, I'm not going to do call-ins. We're going to hit through these super chats and then going to call it a night here. Try to cap this off right at an hour. We're very, very, we're just over that right now. As far as Glenn being defensive coordinator, like any first-time coach is going to probably underperform as a head coach and be highlighted as the coordinator they once were. I'm okay with giving Glenn a little more time. 2 years before we make a concrete decision on him is fine by me. I'm a little more sour on Wilkes than anything else, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a very ugly rest of this season. And I think we're looking, 4 wins is probably the max I see at this point. I'm not an 0-17 kind of guy, but I think we'll luck into a few wins. Jet Engine says, talking about the Jets is like yelling about the national debt. Pointless and never going to get fixed. Have a great one. Yeah, national debt, that's one of those things. It's like, we have no intention on ever paying that back. You come and collect it. We'll go a little boom, boom, boom. That's how it's.
That's actually a really witty comment there, Jet Engine. Kudos, buddy.
I like it. It is pointless. The Jets suck. It's just us. James, thank you so much for joining the economy tier. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Let me give you a little JETS. JETS. Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. All right. We are all caught up. Dom, I want to give you the floor. Anything else you want to kind of get off your chest, either about this game or about the Jets in general?
There's nothing that I need to talk about this game about any longer. This game has come and passed. There's nothing good that happened in Dallas. However, I digress. Let's talk about what to expect this week in London, and I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's a chance to be very ugly. You're talking about a team that not only protects their quarterback at like a really, really top-end echelon as a top-end echelon team, third best protecting their quarterback. But they also first overall in getting to the quarterback. 2 things we haven't done very well is get at the quarterback on defense and protect the quarterback when the other team's blitzing, and that's all Denver does. So this has a chance to get ugly, but think of the positives here, guys. Think of the positives. We get
the game
Sunday.
out of the way early.
That's it. We have all Sunday to get her done. All Sunday to do whatever the hell you want after the game's over by noon. Oof. So there's that. Positive. Devin Lloyd just returned a 99-yard touchdown against Patrick Mahomes, man. Oof.
Wow, good.
Crazy. Yeah.
Love it.
So I'm going to be working on, catching up on some film. I haven't really gone into anything since last weekend. Check out my in-depth scouting reports on Jet X Factor. They'll be posted and stored there as a data source. Got one out on Mendoza already. Next one will be Carson Beck. So get ready for that.
I love it. Sorless comes in at the end, says, thoughts on taking the Giants approach. Best player available, then trading back in for a quarterback. Only ask because I love Caleb Downs. I don't think I would go best player available at the top of the draft. I think I would trade down with someone looking to come up and either get the best player available or take the top quarterback and accumulate a bunch more picks. And then I would, make my pick at wherever we fall in the first round. And I wouldn't be opposed to trading up to get a guy, like even if it was a trade down to trade back up sort of situation. I would say
I don't think you have the firepower to do what the Giants did.
You'd have to give up your first next year and
you don't want to
your
do that.
Second. No, I don't think that's a good move either, because I think we're going to have a pretty high pick in 2027 as well.
And the 2027 class is already looking much more loaded top to bottom than this class is. This class is kind of ass. There's I think it's a good wide receiver class. And I think it's a good quarterback class in the sense that there's a lot of different stylistic decisions to be made. There's no surefire thing yet, but I think there's going to be a lot of good quarterbacks. So outside of that, though, I mean, it's pretty weak class. Edge rusher, maybe. Yeah.
Not great. I do think we're going to need edge rusher. I do think we're going to need wide receiver. I do think we're going to need a quarterback. I think we're going to need a lot more than that, too. But boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out. I want to acknowledge the sponsor of the channel. I want to get this in here. We got Sleeper. Sleeper, get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $100. Use promo code JetsTalk. And boom, we also have a free $20 entry. There's not even any deposit required. Head over, link in the description down below. And if you guys don't know, you think you know football? Then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code JetsTalk, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. Dom, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you tonight. You drive me, you keep me a little bit sane after our Jets drive me a little bit loopy. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. Looking forward to discussing this Denver monstrosity next week with you. And then I'll be out the following week. So, okay. Having the shoulder done finally, a little surgery, so it's done. Having done on the 20th.
Gonna hit the IR, so he's not gonna be able to
for a week.
A little 1 week.
I'll just be loopy. I could be up here, but I would be a little loopy.
You're a little loopy because you're a Jet fan, just like all the rest of us in here. Boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you enjoyed this show, please hit that like button on the way out of here. And as always, go Jets.
Yes, sir.
J-E-T-S,